for me, really, science is a religious aspect of my character. I mean, I'm most religious and I'm most honest when I talk about science. When I talk about things else,
Well, you know, this
might be
this brings up something very interesting about science. So the deep insights that can occur when you realize something, you figure out something, something dawns upon you, you come up with what amounts to a Copernican revolution, it borders or not doesn't border on, it becomes a spiritual experience.
Definitely.
There is an exhilaration.
Definitely.
That because you're finding truth, beauty, and goodness in your comprehension of how the universe works. And it naturally is, to me, exhilarating bliss. It's very close to what some people in yoga and the spiritual communities will talk about, an enlightening experience, entering even into samadhi. There's a kind of almost a cosmic consciousness when you realize, you see the breadth of where a theory like yours actually spreads throughout the entire system, if I may say so.
I agree with you totally, and the agreement comes from the most unlikely places also. I don't think you have more of a enfant terrible of theoretical physics and a man who was very, very open about everything, like Richard Feynman. I mean, he denounced entire NASA and calls them more or less fools, and he couldn't care less what will happen. Richard was diagnosed with cancer, and he neglected till it was too late to operate safely. And yet he didn't change. There was one aspect of his character where the cure for everything is to talk about science.
Mm-hmm.
And when he talked about science, suddenly this very down-to-earth person became very spiritual. Mm-hmm. Even Richard Feynman, who hated the word spirituality, and like Paul Dirac, who was a great philosopher, hated philosophy. I mean, you could drive him insane and he would say and repeat, der systematische Missbrauch von einem Homunculus, der für diesen Zweck geschaffen wurde. Philosophy is the systematic misuse of a nomenclature made specially for this purpose. And the equally, but far more open-minded Bohr would say to my teacher, Heisenberg, he is a specialist of religion. Because if you define religion as the expertise which allow you not to make the common mistakes, then you are an expert of religion. And that's why I think Paul Dirac is the most religious person from all of us, because he doesn't make the mistakes. And although he was a communist, he liked only Kapitsa and Soviet Union and so on and so on, to the extent that a lot of people wouldn't put his statue even in the church, in London, in Westminster. It is the most beautiful religious aspect of the world is the truth, and nothing is truthful more than finding the truth about nature.
My background and interests in ancient wisdom, and our work with Douglas Baker, and my work with Theosophical Society and New York Open Center Esoteric Quest, and my relationship when I was a student at Birkbeck with David Bohm, and Bohm is working with Krishnamurti. And so he is all of these incredible spiritual dialogues.
With Dalai Lama also.
The Dalai Lama as well. And then we find, because we've talked quite a bit about the Moscow school, and it was once I was here, you gave me a book, and it's a very important book upon this Moscow school and their work with set theory, and then they're going into these spiritual states of consciousness, their kind of resonance and chanting.
It is. I have never felt like what I felt when I was dealing with E equal mc square and generalizes to all what you say. And now I even have an insight I didn't put it even in the paper, but I have no problem of saying it here for anybody to take. E equal mc square was always seen at best as a way of showing that matter and energy are equivalent. It is more than that. And neither Einstein, nor I, nor Nikolai Omov, nor all the people who worked before Einstein and after him on this, including myself, realize what I will say to you now. It is more than that. It's a constant of nature. It's the maximum energy. It's just like gravitation and constant. And Einstein was not trying to drive this. Mm-hmm. That's why I tell you, my theory is far cleverer than Bing. And the theory of Lucien Hardy is far cleverer than Lucien Hardy. This is all nature. If you believe in God, this is God. And he's much bigger than all of us.
There's incredible intelligence is what you're saying. I mean, it is, and that's what we find, all the way up, all the way down. No, that's beautiful. Let's do one more paper. Quantum electrodynamics, cosmic dark energy density using Schwinger-Fredkin and E-infinity theory. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
Yeah.
The present paper utilizes the similarity between the non-perturbative Julian Schwinger-Efimov-Friedkin approach and that of E-infinity Cantorian spacetime theory to give an exact solution to the problem of cosmic dark energy via a golden mean scaling superquantization of the electromagnetic field. As is well known, there are many situations in which summing over all Feynman graphs is not only a daunting task, but actually an impossibility. In such cases, one of the best ways to solve the problem is to follow the non-perturbative strategy developed by the late Nobel laureate J. Schwinger and E. Fredkin. Another possibility similar in its non-perturbative character is the E-infinity theory, which resorts to summing over infinite hierarchical golden mean weighted dimensions. It is the aim of the present work, motivated by the Schwinger-Friedkin and E-infinity methodology, to see how the aforementioned methods can be used to drive the ordinary cosmic energy as well as the dark energy density of our universe. Starting from quantum electrodynamics, and in particular by applying transfinite renormalization and p-adic quantization to the inverse electromagnetic E-infinity fine structure constant, you have alpha with the bar over the top equals 20 times 1 over phi, which would be large phi to the fourth power, where the little phi equals square root of 5 minus 1 divided by 2. And of course, when you do the inverse, 1 over phi, that's when you come to the greater. We can determine with unheard of simplicity the exact cosmic measurable ordinary energy density as well as its complementary dark energy component, which cannot be measured at present in a direct way. Finally, we discussed towards the end of this short work the deep philosophical and number theoretical meaning of the present analysis and the reason for its considerable effectiveness.
Yeah. There's so many I want to say, but I don't want to diffuse again, and be all over the place. But I cannot help but tell you this story. Tomonaga and Schwinger and Feynman got the Nobel Prize for the electroweak, quantum electrodynamics. They got the Nobel Prize. And when Feynman heard that Schwinger got it with him, he said, "Oh, so I was translated to Chinese now already," because he considered it hopelessly mathematical. It's funny because I am more into geometry and I'm an engineer, so more in pragmatism. than all of them. But somehow I never took, and I love Feynman because he is the same personality. He doesn't care what he's saying, and he say whatever comes to his mind like me.
But you
But
grab
I never liked
Feynman.
graphs.
Yeah.
Never believed that this little thing, they look very, very pretty, but somehow, maybe because of Feynman, incredibly engaging personality. I mean, as a man, you fall in love with him immediately when you hear him talking. And Zolli and Schwinger, who have the more superior functional mathematical brain, I think he is the biggest theoretical brain in the history of entire theoretical physics. But he is a bit aloof. And of course, he is using too much mathematics, which doesn't make everybody follow easily. And also because his brain size was bigger than usual and bigger than mine at least, he glossed over so many steps that even people like, very famous people, without mentioning their names, they told me, how did he came to this from here? And then if you spend a month, then you know. And for Schwinger, it was absolutely trivial, you'd say. So I wanted to show here that really he was short of saying the golden mean. He and a couple of Russian, because the Russian very good at the golden mean, although we don't know that except through Alexei, your friend.
Stakov, our friend.
And very good at theory, and they are very good at mathematics. There's Moscow School of Mathematics, as you in America always love to say, and my son-in-law was everything awesome.
Awesome.
So it's awesome. Yeah. If you don't say awesome, you are not American. My daughter said to her husband, if you say awesome again, I'm not going to go to America again. Yeah. But that was the feeling. And Schwinger really, his approach is hardly used except by some elites and some, people who are not the common, mainstream. And also his view about free energy. They forbid that he publish.
The cold fusion, yes,
Yeah.
That was him. Yeah.
They forbid he publish a paper. He's a Nobel laureate, and he neither need to work and acknowledge as the greatest genius of all time, and he was not able to publish his paper. So he resigned from the American Physical Society. He resigned from it in protest, and still he had a very. So his approach was not taken. Also, his approach is the right one, and strangely, his approach is exact solutions, and that is the specialty of Garnet Ort.
Yes.
Garnet is so sophisticated, although not mathematically, but in pure thinking, he is sophisticated. He doesn't like to do anything approximately. He always take a simple enough. They called it exact solvable model. It's a whole industry called exact and
Exact solvable
model, and that was the specialty of Garnet. And because he is not like me, is ready to jump in anything to see what is there. He's very careful. He was not able to solve big problem exactly. Now, what most people do is perturbation. Step by step, and you take 2 or 3 steps, and that's it. With the golden mean number system, you have no other option but to get the exact solution.
Wow.
Without iteration, except iteration in the sense you stop summing intentionally. And Feynman graphs and Feynman diagram and all that really is a product of pictorial perturbation. Is how it looks, a perturbation. And perturbation can mislead you. And you can miss a lot of things. For instance, like Lucien Hardy missed knowing that they have the golden mean to the power of 5. So he say, what's it? Doesn't matter if I know that this is the result. I know we have almost 9% chance always that two particles are entangled. No. It's the next step and the next step and next step. It becomes infinitely easier if you know it's 5 to the
And it
power
gives
of
you
5.
precision.
Because 5 to the power of 5, 1 minus 5 to the power of 5 is equal 5 to the power of 2. And then if you are familiar with our theory, you see the whole world in this thing. And this thing would be in German, böhmische Dörfer, Bohemian villages. It must have been very, very difficult for a German to enter in Bohemia in a village. It would be böhmische Dörfer if you don't see that there's a golden mean. You will see nothing. With the golden mean, you have a microscope which enlarge everything, and you see, how on earth could I have missed that?
Yeah.